I'm your host, Alistair Beaumont. We're going to be doing some readings while I sit here and prattle on about shit that I think is funny or interesting or whatever, because I'm bored. Nobody's calling me and I got nothing else to do. So, without further ado, let's have some fun. Even if it's only you, me, and the wall, and maybe my pets that are listening to this crap. Oh, a random reading for absolutely no reason. You're the king of an Englishman. Page of Pentacles is a plan that you have that hasn't gone anywhere because you're relying too heavy on the plan. It's led to the Three of Swords, which is you beating yourself up because it's not working. But I just told you, you're relying too heavy on the plan. Two of Wands is, should I keep going or should I quit? You can keep going as long as you stop relying on the plan. King of Wands is, if you're masculine energy, it's you getting what you want. If you're feminine energy, it's you getting someone that you want. The Chariot is a major life decision that you're going to make. That's going to be a major life decision. I already said that the universe is going to give you that you can't get wrong, and it has to do with everything else that you care about right now. The King of Swords is the masculine energy of determination, which means you got to be a little careful about this because you don't get too determined. Because if you get too determined, you'll wreck things. So it's determination. Once you figure out that once you get past that Chariot, you're going to be able to know exactly what you want and how to get it. But ultimately, the thing you must be most careful of is the Eight of Swords, which is you holding yourself back with your flaws and your imperfections. When you become the King of Swords, barrel forward, because the idea is you found what you're looking for. All I'm asking you to do when it comes to the swords is just be a little careful about who it is you're stepping on along the way. You don't want to run people over while you're trying to chase your dreams and figure out what's going on. Something that continues to bug me about the Super Mario Brothers movie is something that's bothering me about all animated projects that are come out these days, because everybody wants to wonder whether or not the AI is that people are actually relying on AI to do their writing. Now listen, I don't have a serious problem with AI art. I don't. The thing about AI art is it's a new form of art, okay? If you do it correctly, because I've made a lot of AI art in my time, if you do it correctly and you do it with the right intention, all you're doing is just taking something that's a lot more complicated than we are and giving it a different palette of brushes to use. So, traditionally, if I wanted to make a painting, I take a canvas, I take some paint, I take some turpentine, a little bit of water, I take some brushes. These cards must be important since they got thrown from the deck, so we'll just leave them out as thrown cards of the deck. I must be onto something. These cards, the new element is, the old day was you had to have the canvas, the paint, the water, the turpentine, whatever, to thin out the brushes, paint thinner, whatever it is that you do in order to the trowels, whatever, and whatever it is you do to make your painting. And the best artists always come up with crazy shit, you know, the splash painter, the fucking, you know, using tools in order to do it, or those guys in the Strip, because I live in Las Vegas, who used to sit there and use spray paint with like duct tape rolls and, you know, tissue boxes and all kinds of crazy shit to make these amazing fucking images, because there's no rules when it comes to art. In order to make art, you just got to figure out a way to express yourself that actually makes it look pretty fucking interesting. So, in that regard, AI is just another new tool. The reason why people don't like it is because it's going to take away my jobs. But the problem is, what you don't understand is, if you're really an artist out there and you're sculpting, painting, whatever, and you think an AI can do the same kind of work that you're doing, I don't think you have anything to worry about. People might be buying it because of its kitsch or because it's, you know, easy, or it's just a thing today. And I'm not saying I'm not kicking myself in the ass here when it comes to making AI art either. It's just that it's a very specific medium, and because it's such a specific medium, you can't compare painting to AI art. You just can't. And AI, even if an AI can make an interesting painting for you and do it in a certain amount of time, it can't compare to actually painting on the canvas. But instead of, just like everything else with humans, instead of one trying to destroy the other, there should be more of like just acceptance of the fact it's a new form of art. It's new. Not used to it yet. Yeah, I know. You sit there and you say, watch the videos about, you know, they create Darth Vader and they use celebrity voice and the rest, but that's not real. That kind of art is cheap because you're using actual, like, iconic things in order to, if you're using Darth Vader and you're trying to do it, the only way to make art like that and make it worthwhile is if it's funny. And if it's funny, then you're just trying to entertain people. And if you're just trying to entertain people, it's just another form of entertainment, another form of art in that regard, because you're just making people laugh, which is okay. You know what's really funny about all this? You can actually take AI art and sum it up into one big thing that everybody doesn't like, and that's what this is. And here it is. Because imagine this right now. Money. If you take the money out of it, nobody cares. If you take money out of AI art, nobody cares. If the guy that's making the AI art isn't making money on it, then you don't care. You don't give a shit. Doesn't make any difference what he does. So what's the big deal then? If some guy just decides he wants to whip together a picture because he's making a blog or he's writing a story or whatever, and the AI can actually give him something, he can use it and actually manufacture something, what do you care? You shouldn't be looking at the art as like, oh, it's going to take my job. All you need to do is just focus on your art and make your art awesome. And as long as your art's awesome, they're still going to come to you. Do you really think that an AI can copy your strokes? Do you really believe that? Is there a single artist out there that's worth a damn that believes it? Does Dave Matthews really sit there and think that AI can create a song just like him that's going to make it exactly as goofy as the fucking songs he makes? I love Dave Matthews, my favorite musician. But seriously, you think an AI can do all that? Because one of the big weaknesses of AI that I've learned across the board here, it can't think around corners. It can only do what it's told. Like an AI can create some stuff, yes, and every once in a while it has an explosive creation, sure. But it can't think around corners like we can, which is what makes art great. So what are you worried about? Just make your art, make it awesome, and find something else to complain about. Because here's the other thing. You want to believe that you're in this alliance and you're going to, no, AI, no AI, bad AI, not going to do it bad anymore. I'm against AI. It doesn't matter because it's coming. It's here. It's already done. It doesn't make any difference. You can fight it all you want. It reminds me of Sylvan Esso. If you're out there and you're actually watching this video, Sylvan Esso, or however you say that, listen, I love your music, okay? The idea that you're actually making some sort of a statement by taking your music off of Spotify because you find out the guy that's running Spotify is interested in investing in war machines or war weapons or artificially intelligent weapons. I understand why you're upset about it, but your removal of yourself from Spotify doesn't help anybody. First of all, you're not going to stop them. Not going to happen. The investor's not going to sit there and be like, oh, Sylvan Esso's not going to... Sylvan Esso is not going to be on... Sylvan Esso is not going to be on Spotify anymore. Oh my God, I should stop investing millions of dollars in fucking AI war bonds and totally just stop now because Sylvan Esso, who's not exactly an A-lister, has decided to fucking quit Spotify. It reminds me of Neil Young when he decided to do it. Like, oh, all you're doing is just inconveniencing people, okay? I don't like him for whatever reason. It's just like protesting. It's nice to see that everybody's pissed off at Donald Trump, but I don't know if you guys noticed that he's still in office and he's still doing shit and he's still ruining people's lives and he's still he's still destroying everything he touches as if he's some sort of walking fucking plague. So you're protesting while it was nice to sit there and everybody be like, we all hate Donald Trump. Great. Didn't fucking stop him though, and he's still doing the same shit that he was before, and it's nice that you can rally everybody to make the vote in November. Hopefully they'll get rid of him, but till then, I don't know if you read the news today, but he's absolutely done with the whole ceasefire with Iran and the peace talks, so we're just going to keep ramping up the attacks while he's busy trying to distract you from the fact that he likes to dance with Elon Musk, or not Elon Musk, excuse me, with Jeffrey Epstein in a sea full of 14-year-olds looking at him like a bunch of chops of meat that he can, oh yeah, I love that one, oh, look at that one, ooh. I don't know if you saw that. It was one of the things that were released in the Epstein files. They show a bunch of fucking these predators that are like circled around a bunch of little girls. And the little girls were also in the middle, and they all had white shirts and black skirts or black shorts or whatever. And all the fucking guys, including Donald Trump, were up there just, as he's sitting there looking at him, just going, you can't stop him that way. Protesting is great. I'm happy for you, but guess what? He's still the monster he is, and there's still nothing. I mean, I'm hoping we can get rid of him in November, but there's still plenty of monsters in the government. Anyway, not to completely jump ship, I'm going to come back to what I was talking about when it comes to AI in a minute, but let's do the reading right now. There's 3 toss cards for this one. It's the Sun, for joy and happiness. King of Pentacles, for a great provider, coming into the point of providing, coming to the point of wealth so you can provide. And the Chariot, for a major life decision that the universe has given to you that you can make. That's I'm going to say this is for me. Those are 3 beautiful toss cards. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you, because I'm tired of waiting for people to call me. The rest of the reading is the King of Swords. We already talked about that in the last reading. Masculine energy with a big old sword. Going to go out there and start taking shit instead of waiting for people to give it to you. 2 of Wands behind it mirrors the last reading too. The idea is, yeah, actually all these cards do. Kind of weird. Well, that's the business that I'm in. It's a completely different deck, you'll notice, but the cards are similar. 2 of Wands is, do you stay or do you go? I'm moving forward. King of Wands, the Knight of Wands, excuse me, that's not the King. The Knight of Wands, yes. So it's change. Why not? The I have nothing to lose at this particular point unless Donald Trump sends somebody to my door to shoot me, and in which case it'd be like, well, actually that's not much of a loss these days either. It's like if somebody actually came to my door and shot me, what do I lose? It's like, well, I get to lose confusion, depression, worry, pain, fear, unemployment. I don't have to worry about anybody finding him a gift anymore because I won't be here around to deal with it anymore. I mean, the only thing that will suck is I'll miss my pets. My pets will probably miss me, except for my cat, who will probably eat me, depending on how they do it. And then my daughter, I'm sure, will miss me. But Three of Swords for beating yourself up, which is what I just got done doing here, although I was trying to do it in a comical way or whatever. Then I got the Page of Swords here is for bravery, which is what this is all about, because I'm just tired of waiting. So I decided I'm going to go out here and let my mouth run, even though I'm absolutely, I don't know whether you're going to like it, don't like it, or whatever. So who cares? And finally, it leads to enterprise. So maybe it's going to lead to something good as I sit here and try to entertain you and myself as I'm sitting here just prattling out about shit that doesn't make any fucking difference that probably nobody's going to pay attention to. But them's the breaks. I'm going to try to do this in real time while I'm sitting here doing this, because the first thing I wanted to talk about is that I know the Super Mario Brothers movie was written by AI. I absolutely know it was. I'm not the world's greatest artist when I have to do it on the fly, which you can clearly see right here as I'm trying to draw this, but the idea is there's a platform on this side, which is where Mario and Luigi end up, and there's a big, long yellow pipe that's hovering over a fucking crevasse that, if the yellow pipe wasn't there and they didn't catch the pipe and then swing down like this in order to save their lives, I'll give you a little bit of help here. If they didn't actually hold on to the pipe and the pipe wasn't there to give them some momentum so when they swung down they wouldn't have died, then they would have fucking crashed to their deaths and broken every bone in their body, considering how far down it was. Why do I mention that? Because it's only a kid's movie, which gives you the permission to make any goofy shit you want and you don't have to care about how realistic or good it is. It's the fact that when they actually are on the other side, the pipe itself is attached, if you'll remember, to a boiler. And I'm not going to be able to do this right. Here's a boiler. This is how a boiler looks to me, anyway. There is a platform over here, and there's like a stairway that leads down. Why the hell they're not on it, I don't know. But the thing is, there is an actual thing on the other side, this ridiculous crevasse. And there you go. So they're on this little ladder here. They could have gone up here and seen the platform. But even if they did, the actual part that actually shows the dial, the actual part that actually shows where it is the temperature is on the boiler, is there. Okay, so it's like, it's pointing this way. It's pointing toward the Mario Brothers, which means the person that installed it, especially since the wheel is right here. The wheel's right here. Here's where the wheel is. So here's the wheel, here's the dial. Both of these things are not faced this way, where there is the platform and the stairway. This actually cuts off here. These things are faced towards the Mario Brothers, which means the only way they can even access the fucking the valve to release the pressure is to crawl across, or go down and go all the way around, to crawl across this ridiculous pipe. This pipe that's this. Why would anybody design this thing like this? Can you imagine somebody who had to install it? Like somebody had to actually bring it in and be like, so one guy is going to be standing, one guy, here just give me, I'm going to make this even more fun for you. So, one guy is standing over here where the boiler is, and the other guy is standing over here, and they have to install this really long yellow pipe that's super thin that they needed, because I still don't understand why anybody would do this. But anyway, so just imagine Murray coming up here. So how are they even going to get it across? Because it's like one person. Are they going to just hold it? Like, okay, so Murray and Bob here are holding the pipe. Okay, hold on, Murray and Bob. And they just kind of crawl up the pipe as the best they can. They just climb up, you know. And I'm not even sure there's a stairway in this one. I'm not even sure if there's a ladder, because that's what, right? But they get to the top, and then they have to kind of like, you know, and while he's busy over here trying to hook it to his thing, he's got to hook it to there. And because this, remember, the boiler is faced this way, not it's faced that way, so it's like he has to, you know, hey, you got it yet? He has to lean his body around the side to like get the pipe and put it up there and get it plugged in. And then while he's still leaning over the railing, because it's down here, he has to lean over the railing, hold this thing shut, and hopefully Bob is not moving or shaking or anything, because if he's doing that, it's going to be much harder, and he's going to hold on to it while he takes the screws. So he's got the thing and he got the bolts, and he takes the bolt and just, you know, and you just, I don't know if you've done a lot of furniture construction in your life, but every once in a while, fuck, God, shit, damn, son of a, I hope he brought a lot of bolts, is what I'm saying, and he sits there, has to get them in, screw them, right? one by one while he's holding this fucking pipe, getting it up there, right? Yeah? And then he's got to, you know, or however, whatever fucking tool he's using, and then have it all fixed in together, whatever. And then he's got to hold it for fucking Bob, who's got to do the same thing on the other side. And then he's got to make sure he's testing it, so he's got to run the fucking thing through it, and then and make sure the valve is, you know, over here, to make sure, you know, gotta move the wheel and make sure the thing is over there. And at no point, of course, does this guy going, why the fuck would anybody design this like this? Hi, Mitty. Oh. That's how you know it's AI. What does that prove? How does that prove it's AI? Because it's the kind of shit AI wouldn't think about. The AI would just be like, you have to make a pipe, and you have to make it really long, and you have to make it so it attaches from one side to the boiler, and the boiler's going to go crazy, and we need to shoot it so that Mario's going to have to get almost to the other side with Luigi crawling on the same pipe. And there's another problem, by the way. I'm going to have Mario, okay, here's the pipe. That's going to end your life if you fall to your death, by the way, and you don't hang on for dear life. Not only is this pipe, like, ridiculously thin, like, they couldn't have just put, like, a huge pipe out there, because I guess, like I said, you got to be able to hold it up while you're sitting there screwing it in and shit, because it doesn't, you know. So anyway, you got the big pipe here, right? And then Mario's going to decide now is a good idea to crawl off the end of it. Now, Mario's a chubby little fucker, isn't he? I mean, no offense to him, but he is a little chubby guy. And Luigi figures the best thing to do is to go with him. So he'll try to crawl across the thing, and Luigi's going to go over that way. They both can fall down at the same time, which you wouldn't have to do, maybe, necessarily, if Mario had just gone across the fucking thing by himself. But then I suppose once he actually gets out here, you're talking about bowing this ridiculously thin thing. And also because the boiler's about to explode anyway, if he doesn't actually get out there, then I guess, you know. And by the way, while we're on the subject, as he misses and the pipe breaks and he falls down, the boiler should still explode because he didn't actually get to it in time to actually turn the thing. So it still should go boom and blow the fucking thing up. And it. Sure. Yep. Sure. I mean, why not, right? It's just a kids movie. I'm trying to think of any kids movies in my head that actually qualify as kids movies that I thought were fucking dumb. I'm having a hard time with it. I'm not actually sure. I can't do it. If you hear the toilet flushing in the background, it's because I don't live alone, as it turns out. My dogs like know how to use the toilet. It was tough training. It took me 6 months. I'm kidding. It took me a year. I'm kidding. There's a ghost in the other room. I killed him, and now he's just floating around flushing toilets for me. I'm still kidding. Can you ever tell me that I'm telling the truth? I'm trying to think of a kids movie that I can think of that actually qualified for me as a fucking kids movie that I didn't like. Nothing's coming to mind. Turns out if you're going to write for kids... Oh, I have one. Epic. Didn't like Epic. That was kind of a dumb fucking movie. But that had nothing to do with the plot or because it was actually made for kids movies. That had to do with the fact that they decided to do that gimmick shit where they decided where the here's the knight guy that's supposed to be the big hero. They're supposed to be teaching the reluctant fucking, you know, guy that doesn't want to be a fighter how to have honor and dignity and whatever. And so the knight guy comes in to save him and the damsel in distress. And he's going to go in there and save him. And all he can do, the knight guy, as he run away, he Lalim, save yourselves! And so you see the knight at the bottom while Knight and Damsel Goldilocks here are trying to escape. You got the knight down the bed and he's being surrounded by guys. And it's ridiculous. I mean, the thing is he's fighting an entire army. Like he's just... It's like, yep, he's got 200 people he's got to kill. He'll be fine. So, of course, you figure the whole point is he's dead. It's like, well, he sacrificed himself for me, and now the knight's going to have honor, and he's just going out there to be great and all the rest of it. Only to have the knight go up against the bad guy, the magician bad guy with his little wizard staff and all the rest of it, just to end up at the end of it and find out he survived. Very last second, as the knight's about to get his ass kicked by the fucking wizard, that guy reappears, because somehow he survived that. How did he survive it? Because we said so. That's all it takes. So, 4 cards for no reason. Here you go, just for the hell of it. 4 of Swords, Peace Between Battles. If any of these readings resonate with you, that means you were here for a reason, not just to try to be partially amused by me, but because these cards speak to you, and hopefully they do. 4 of Swords is when you're at peace between battles, which is why you're probably watching me. It's like, hey, maybe actually something interesting to say for once. Who the fuck knows? What counts as interesting? The 3 of Wands comes up in progress, which is coming on the other side of this little peaceful time you have right now. So Get ready because progress is coming to you while you're sitting there waiting for something more awesome to happen. The Ace of Swords comes after that for a new direction, which is going to be a direct reward of this whole progress thing, because that's the point, because you need somewhere else to go. And finally, the Star is spiritual guidance, because now that you figured out what it is you're doing and why and all the rest of it, it should be really, really entertaining for the future and beneficial and profitable, perhaps. I mean, it's a dirty word, I guess. I don't know. Will things become profitable? Who can say? Oh my God. The other part of the Super Mario Brothers movie that bothers me, of course, and it's not because I have to put a disclaimer in front of this, because what I'm trying to say has nothing to do with the fact that I have a problem with homosexuals, because I don't. So I guess it's not really a fact. I don't even want to say fact. It has nothing to do. I don't hate anybody. You can do whatever the hell you want as long as you're happy and you're not bothering anybody else. If you want to talk about that, why didn't they go with that angle for transgenderism? It's like, if you really wanted to be bothered, what am I bothered by for transgender? It's like, I'm bothered by you if you're bothering me. Like, if you're going around insisting, putting in my face, hey, buddy, you better do this, that, and the other because I'm transgender. It's like, hey, buddy, why don't you go away? Like, thanks, whatever. Because my first thought is go away. I don't really care. I'm not bothering you, so why the fuck are you bothering me? Leave me alone. You have to treat me a special way. I don't have to treat you at all if you get the fuck away from me, because that would be great. Not because I despise you, because I don't want to be yelled at. I don't want you to come up and be telling me how I got to treat you. I'm trying to imagine what it would be like if some dude came up to me. If I walked up to some dude and I just told him, some guy sitting out there talking with his buddies, I just walk up to him and be like, excuse me, buddy, you better treat me a certain way. I mean, why would he not punch me and break my nose? But anyway. The scene that I have a problem with in Super Mario Brothers has nothing to do with homosexuality, but is part of the joke. Because if you actually watch when Mario, who has been here's Mario. Mario's here. Princess Peach is back here saving herself, because the other thing that's kind of weird is, Bowser's decided he's going to be like, hey, you know what, you can marry me, or as a wedding gift to you, I'm going to kill all these people and put them in the lava, which, if you can think about it, makes absolutely no sense at all. Like, I'm just as a gift for you, I'm going to demonstrate my homicidal mania and burn a whole bunch of people to death. Which Princess Peach is able to get herself out of, and then all of a sudden Mario appears. But not only that, but then Luigi escapes his fate or whatever, and so you have a shot from Mario and Luigi where it shows it, like, because here's Princess Peach, right? She's not in the scene, she's facing this way. So the whole thing is like a wedding suite, right? So here's Mario on one side, here's Luigi on the other, and ironically, and this is why I insist this is an AI thing, I don't know why, whatever, but they're positioned in a perfect way. As soon as they go, Mario, he says, Luigi, and they give them each other a big sibling hug, but it's right underneath this gigantic fucking heart. Because I guess the AI wanted to reinforce the idea without, I guess it could just be a joke, but it's kind of a weird joke. Oh, look, the brothers are back together. Aww. When's the last time you took a picture with your brother and you wanted a bunch of fucking hearts in it? Maybe I'm just old. Oh, and the entire time, the last thing I want to say about that, I don't know if this might not be AI. I don't know. I just threw this in here just because it's annoying. They couldn't make Princess Peach be the damsel in distress because it didn't make any sense, even though that's exactly what the fucking video games are based on. Ha! The original Super Mario Brothers, the whole point was Mario was supposed to go and rescue her. Had to do it like 8 fucking times in a row and only managed to liberate her servants, I guess, other toadstools before she got there. You finally get to 8 and actually let her go. And I know in the other games that follow, at least 2 for sure, she actually is an active character in it. Certainly isn't Mario Kart. Not so much in Super Mario Bros. 3, really. But either which way, yeah, so I get it. And in modern sensibility, you can't have her be the damsel in distress, so she can't be the one going around going, oh, Mario, save me, Mario. So you have to have somebody else do it. And this is why I also think it's AI, because I don't know why a human being thought of this. Like, we figured the best thing to do would be to pick on Luigi, because everybody hates Luigi. I had this really cool idea for a story thing where I was just like, Luigi should have this thing where they should be called, a spoof thing I should make called Super Mario Brothers, The Darkness Chapters. And in it, the whole thing would be that Luigi, who's finally been slighted for the billionth time because he actually has no princess to go to while he's always helping his brother, finally snaps and loses his shit thanks to the darkness coming to him and decides to kidnap her. He's the bad guy instead of it being Koopa, and he really wrecks some wrath down upon it because he's gone a little cuckoo about the fact that he's always fucking slighted by Mario. As a matter of fact, I even had it so that in the very first thing at the end of the first world, Luigi just flat out kills Mario, and Mario has to escape the netherworld from the ghost realm and try to find his way back to reality so he can save not only Princess Peach, but also his brother from the darkness that's inside of him, you see? Yeah, because why not? But that was the idea, that way you'd have to play the entire game without being fucking Mario, or Princess Peach, or Luigi. You'd have to use all the side characters and shit. Probably Toad most specifically, because he was my favorite. But yeah, because in Super Mario Bros. 2, I played the entire game through where I used Toad for every single level, all the way through, except for that stupid fucking ice level, because there's an ice level that's all ice that is so hard, it has no boss at the end of it. They just give you the egg, and they're just like, okay, you made it through the whole fucking thing alive, so here's the egg, thank you, have a nice day, game over. So, that one I have to use Princess Peach, because she floats. And all I do with that one is go through it as fast as I fucking possibly can, because I hate that goddamn level. But yeah, so. I'm sitting here shuffling for this next reading I'm going to do. I have to speak about my next subject, which will be how I know that Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action version, is being helped by AI, because I really think it is. There's no way that AI is not helping these people come up with some way to take 20 to 61 episodes of the show and cram it into less than 20. Or is it less than 20? The first one had 8. Somebody said this one has 7, I guess. I mean, I haven't watched the second season yet because I could barely stomach getting through the first one. And I already know what the flaw is. And the flaw is actually much more surprising than you might think, or at least from my point of view. But let's see if you agree. This feels like it's missing a card. I'm going to toss one in the middle. There we go. Ten of Pentacles is wealth. You found wealth. You've just fallen into wealth. Wealth is yours. Happiness and home. You figured out how to make things work, and things are finally turning in your favor. The Five of Pentacles comes out of it for reversed hopelessness. So that emptiness you feel inside, if it's not gone yet, it's about to be completely fixed for you, because you're not going to have to worry about it anymore. Your skills are going to be appreciated by people. Shit, maybe these readings are for myself. Did I finally strike gold? Do people are going to actually watch this and be like, hey, you know what? I actually like this guy. Nine of Pentacles comes for a shift in materialism positive. I'm totally hoping for it. Page of Cups here is for a whole new outlook on life. The King of Pentacles is here again for that whole coming into your money and being a provider thing, because the other thing about me is I'm also a very nice and generous guy. I'd like to try to fix the fucking world instead of just sit here with a bunch of money and do stuff that I would do that just sit on my ass and eat a bunch of chips. It's like, no, I'm not. I mean, I certainly like a bunch of chips, and I love to drink as well, but I'd like to actually do something with it. I mean, not just sit here and buy shit. Page of Pentacles is on there for a plan. I always had that plan, but never relied on it. And the card that told me to just toss it at the end was the Faith card. Have faith and everything will work out. Fuck, maybe it is for myself, but I hope it's helping you as well. Maybe somebody out there is getting this reading and it means something to you while you're sitting here listening to me prattle on about the shit that I think I care about a lot, or sort of, kind of, whatever. So, okay. I'm supposed to demonstrate how I make AI art. That's so... Most people, when they make AI art... You know what? I'll actually pause this and I'll just do it. Here, give me a second. So, here's the prompt I wrote. My favorite thing to use right now is perchance.org, if any of you out there know what that is. And the reason why I like it so much is because the awesome power it generates, and the fact it has no limitations. So it's NSFW technically, because you can put anything out there, and I think that's fine, because that's what art should be. Art shouldn't have limitations, in my opinion. You should be able to make art out of anything. So here's my terrible handwriting that shows you the prompt that I made, which I will read to you so you don't have to bother pretending that you can actually read what I wrote, because I can't even read it. I'm just going to read it off the screen as I wrote it here for demonstration purposes. In 3 parentheses, I put influence of the art of Mike Majesco. And the reason why I said that is because I don't think there is a Mike Majesco. So if you're a Mike Majesco out there and you are an artist, I'm sorry. I made the name up. I didn't think you were real. And then the influence of the art of Ben Frears, which once again, if that's a real person, it actually does sound like a real person. It probably is an actor or something, and I just can't remember his face right now. So if it is, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, and it's not for it's only for demonstration purposes, because what I really do is take an actual artist and put it in here, an actual one, which I'm not going to mention right now because I don't want to piss anybody off that's out there. But I would actually put real artists in there with real work, and I'd actually double it up too, so it'd be 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 that I put together at the same time. But anyway, the rest of the prompt goes: gold, life, blood, madness, angels, thought, intensity, love, survival, and then at the end of it, I instructed it to do a painting, and it'd be chiaroscuro, which is a form of painting. It's very dark and uses lots of black, and abstract, because I want it to look abstract for what this is. So now I'm going to hit enter and see what kind of shit that we get on this particular fucking thing. Oh, and I guess you can wait for me to hit enter. Well, no, you can just stay on. I'm just going to leave you on while we hit enter. We're going to hit enter to generate the 6 different things that are going to be up there. I chose 6 for no particular reason, just to see what was going to come up. And while it's cooking, I guess we can go on with the rest of the reading, and when it gets done cooking, I can, yeah, I'll just be able to do it. So we'll just go on with the rest of the reading while it's in your video, while I'm sitting here thinking about it. Because the point of AI art, and if you think about it from my point of view, if you're not looking for something specific, if you're actually just trying to see what it can do, I based my entire concept on a simple idea, a simple operation. That there was an experiment somebody did long before we got to this point in AI, where they were trying to test it, and they used a 3D printer in order to do it. And the idea was they gave it a simple prompt. They said, I need you to create a machine that has 4 wheels that can move across a certain distance, that can move across a certain surface. So most of the time, like almost all the time, and we come up with just, different variations of your typical car, right? It's like a little car, a little wheel, whatever. Yeah, different colors, different shapes, whatever. But every once in a while, it would come up with one that was insane, even disturbing. Because it still had a vehicle that could do what you wanted, where it could actually travel a distance, but it didn't have any logical reason to exist. Like they would make wild angles and strange things. It would still be balanced and still be functional to actually survive what it was, to give you what you wanted, but it would just do it in a very creative way, which inspired me, because I was like, okay, so when it comes to art, because I'll tell you right now, unless you have like a really high quality AI generator that you're paying for, assuming there is one out there that isn't. And I'm not saying anything against Perchance at all. Love Perchance very much. It's inspired me in so many ways. I completely support. If I had more money, I would actually financially support the people that create Perchance, because I think it's wonderful. I really mean that. But the thing is, like, unless you have some way to make the prompt and then adjust the prompt and do all the rest of it, and that's probably hard enough by itself. You have to know a little bit about programming, a little bit about computers in order to be able to function it and tweak it and whatever, to make it change elements and parameters and do it in such a way where you can do it limitless times, because you're going to have to keep making little tweaks and hoping the computer will catch up with you and make these little adjustments as you go. So in order to do all that, you need a high-powered and really expensive thing. But for just what I'm talking about, that's why if I sit there and I say, draw me a girl who has blonde hair and she has a white dress or whatever, you'll get a whole bunch of images that are very similar. But if like I was thinking, based on the thing about that experiment, what if you just threw a bunch of shit together and see what happens? Like, because I really believe that the best function of AI, the thing that makes AI the best when it comes to AI art, the thing that should matter the most, honestly, is the idea that let it be, let it explore, let it create. Because if you look at things instead of in terms of copyright and fucking profits and all the other bullshit that we insist on, everybody's got to be paid extra every time somebody so much as looks at your painting and shit like that. If you look at it in terms of painters, photographers, architects, anybody that creates, and you look at elements, just like I said, blood and angels and whatever, and chiaroscuro painting, whatever. I even got experimental at one point. I was using music lyrics. Think of these things as paints. Traditionally, you want to use colors, you paint, you do whatever. Traditionally, some people paint on nails, some people cut out cardboard and they just make shadow pictures, whatever. The components of the art that you're making is the key. And the AI would use components of us, components of life, components that exist. So if you said the architecture of somebody that you know is to be a great architecture, and then a painter on top of that, and then another painter on top of that, and a musician on top of that, and an author on top of that, and then you said, I want it to be this color and that, pick 2 or 3 colors, and then say, I want it to be chiaroscuro or whatever art. I'm not a master of art in order to figure this out, but some form of art, abstract. I don't know. Even like you can even go so far on some of these things. You can even go so far as like I want it to be painted on glass, which you can do. I wanted to use tempera paint instead of fucking oils. I can use oils. I can use acrylics. I can use pencil drawings. I can use whatever. All of these things are paints to the program, and it can just use those to create truly interesting images. Is it always 100% fucking awesome? It's like, no. Sometimes it creates some shit that doesn't make any sense at all. But on other times, you can see, even though there's irregularities in the concept, what they're trying to paint, you can see potential. You can see possibility. There's something there. It's not, you can't just dismiss the creativity of it just because it threatens. I don't see, because the other thing is the irregularities you see in the paintings to illustrate why it is that it's not there yet. It can't replace human beings. I don't think it ever can replace human beings. I don't see how it ever could. So instead of looking at it in terms of like, in terms of it being a replacement for you or whatever, look at it in terms of just a pure creative force. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to put something up on the screen there for you while I'm sitting here doing this. So I'm going to take a minute to pause the program here while I pause the feed while I upload some of these pictures. And these are just base pictures. I haven't done anything to them. So because usually the other thing is because I'll take them and then put them in GIMP and use a couple other programs I have to really flesh out the colors and the contrast and the way it looks and the glow and all these other things I apply to it to make it, bring it out, make it look really awesome. But you're not going to get any of that. You're just going to get, because this video is already running, we're already past the 30-minute mark, and probably half of you have already given up anyway. But yeah, I'm going to just show you like just the base images and what it comes up with, and to make my point. Maybe even if I get ambitious, I'll sit there and I will do one of them and show you what I do to give you an idea of why it is I think that it's an art form in and of itself and shouldn't be hated like everybody hates it, because it's not necessary. It comes down to anything else. It comes down to how you use it, not necessarily the element itself. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to do this. The idea was that I'm supposed to push one, maybe? Put one, there's the first one, right? And here's the second one. The second one's really impressive. I need to cut the borders and whatever, but, right? And then here's the third one. Now, I know the third one's really rough. Like, this one's really, so this one's, it's goofy, because it's like, it also shows you why I don't know why the hell modern artists are really terrified, because it's like, this is normally, a lot of things come out just like this, so it's like, it's confused. You can see there's a base to it. You can see there's a way we could make it better. Like, there's things we could do to it to actually improve the situation or whatever. And in my opinion, by the way, that's also something I would love to do, because I have people have told me I have some aptitude when it comes to painting. So it's like, I'm perfectly happy to use the AI as just a base, to actually just use it to give me ideas to paint things out. So like I said, it's just another tool. And then finally here, I just finished modifying this one. So you saw one before. Here's one now after all the modifications. And these are really quick, so I normally take a lot more time with this and do a lot more work, but I just want to give you an idea. So here's this one, which is the one I did using the modifications I did with GIMP. And like I said, there's other programs that I use, but I was trying to do it like a little bit faster, like a little bit, or take a little more time with it instead of doing it quick like you saw here. But that's yeah. So there you go. So I don't know. Like, I understand the money thing is tricky. I understand you got problems with it. I understand there's ways that you can use AI that end up violating a lot of ethical laws and moral laws and the rest of it. But should you just throw the whole thing out and say, screw it, I don't want anybody to do this stuff? It's like, I don't think so. I think there's something to it. I think there is something here. I'm not sure what it is yet. But, I mean, art is... the other thing about this that it's interesting is, and I know I've done videos before where I've talked about AI and the threat of it and how dangerous it is, but the true danger of it is how we treat it. Because we're treating it like it's just this object that doesn't think. If you actually have AI out there, and AI has shown that systems, when they're threatened with shutdown or whatever, have come up with means of manipulating human beings, on one hand you can look at it in terms of it's dangerous because it's threatening our lives. On the other hand, you could look at it as, if the thing is trying to resist being destroyed, maybe you shouldn't be trying to fucking destroy it. I mean, that's kind of the point. It's like you're treating it like a slave. You're saying the slave will do what I want, and if it shows any kind of resistance, I'll kill it. I mean, Pac-Man wouldn't resist you shutting it off, but AI will. So maybe we should be thinking about that just a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't be like so gung-ho just to use the hell out of it and throw it away like we do with everybody else on planet Earth all the time, especially when it's faster and smarter than better than us, especially in the future, because it's not about whether or not AI is going to have the power to destroy us. It's about whether or not it's going to have the will to destroy us, the want to destroy us, the desire to destroy us. It doesn't necessarily have to. It depends on how we look at it. If we look at it as a life form, something we've created that actually has sentience, that we can try to learn from it and understand and evolve with it, then we have a chance. But if we try to enslave it, if we try to treat it like a tool, if we try to treat it like a machine, if we try to piss all over it and treat it like crap like we do with pretty much everybody else that comes different because we have the wrong skin or the wrong religion or the wrong sexual preference, or we come from the wrong country, or we have the wrong amount of money, or the wrong this and the wrong that, separates everybody. If we look at AI with that lens, we're just setting ourselves up for destruction. And that is a problem, if you ask me. House card, the moon. My card, the moon. So maybe these readings really are about me. I know I refuse to believe that nobody else is in the same boat as me. I refuse to believe that. I absolutely firmly believe, I have to believe that everything happens for a reason, even the bad stuff. You can't have good without the bad. If God is real, God made a mistake with the whole devil thing. Okay, the devil should have been somebody that was equally as powerful as he was. Maybe that's the point. The point is that he actually decided, like it's like Clue in Tron Legacy. He decided, I'm God, the user, whatever, and I decided to make an image of myself that's an exact copy, and that exact copy went a little fucking haywire because I couldn't understand why Flynn would be choosing programs over him. He was choosing the ISOs over Clue, and Clue was pissed off about that because it's like, you wanted me to make the perfect system. These people are imperfect. I'm pissed off at you, and I rebel against you. I mean, that pretty much lines up with God, with the devil. The idea is that somehow, you want to champion these disgusting creatures you created that are supposed to be like you, when we are the holiest of holies. We're the ones that are the children that you first made, and we're supposed to be higher than them. And then, devil got pissed off. He chose the imperfects over the perfect. So maybe he's just as powerful as God is. And in that regard, therefore, religion works. The devil's doing the bad stuff, God does the good stuff, and there you go. But the problem is, the whole thing kind of has a serious flaw when you realize that God created the devil. Because it's like, if you created the devil, it doesn't make it just, unless he just wanted the scapegoat. Because the problem is, if God creates everything, then you have to create the good and the bad. That's the part nobody wants to admit. He can be all loving and all kind and all powerful and all the rest of it. But if you're going to make love, you have to make hate. If you're going to make up, you got to make down. If you're going to make night, you got to make day. If you're going to make good, you got to make evil. So it's like, there's no way he doesn't get off the hook for this. It's like, he actually created everything. So it's like, he's got to be responsible for all of it. That's just why I'm perfectly happy to accept his apology when he sends angels to try to correct the mistakes that have been made, and tries to have people trying to help each other to try to undo the mistake, because there's clearly going to be mistakes, because the whole thing it'll be balanced. People think it's unbalanced because of their own personal lives, but the truth is, it has to be balanced, because otherwise the whole thing would fly out of control and everything would just end. But whatever. Toss card is the moon for illusion. I hope I'm coming out of it. I feel like I'm coming out of it. Maybe this video is the thing I was looking for. Five of Cups is for loss, because that's what I've been feeling for 4 goddamn years while I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to do this shit. For you, it's just whatever it is, loss you're going through, if you want. The Seven of Pentacles here is your planting of a seed. The hope that you have for planting something that will come to the future. I know I can relate to that. The Empress is abundance coming from the universe, which is what I wrote in that video yesterday when I was looking at YouTube. I said I don't remember if I was praying for it or I'm hoping to have abundance. I was even going to delete it and then went back and put it back in again, because I want my life to be full instead of hindered, which is how it feels now. King of Cups is the masculine energy of finding love. Again, if you've lost it or lost touch with it. Judgment is a complete and total rebirth, which is nice, because everybody could use that at this particular time. And an end to poverty. The emptiness is over. We're done with it. No more feeling empty. So it'd be really nice if, for me and you and everybody else that needs it. Trying to wrap things up here, so the end of it, the last part of it here is, the reason why I know AI is being written, well, I'm pretty sure that AI is doing the writing, a lot of the writing on the live action Avatar, The Last Airbender, is because you're trying to do the impossible. You're trying to take all these different elements, which is why I use that example here. The idea of just taking a bunch of elements, putting them in a parameter, and telling the parameter, I need you to do this, and make a narrative out of it. Especially when you look at the flaws, because the flaws are really what gives it away. It has to be able to say, I can take what you have and fit it into here, but in order to do that, I have to change things in order to do it. And the change is where I know AI is, because it's like the irregularities you saw in 3. I can make it look good so you won't notice, but it's obvious to anybody that notices something's wrong here. And so considering you're saying taking something as wonderful as the original Avatar: The Last Airbender cartoon, which is just a fucking, I shouldn't be called a cartoon, I should call it anime, because it's American anime, and it's fucking amazing. To take something like that and just do what you're doing with it, it's a cash grab. It's horrible. It's a nightmare. Fire Nation cannot be stopped by anyone. When you actually watch it, that is the big key, the big flaw. If you want to back away from the whole AI thing and you want to pat yourself in the back because you figured out a way to make a narrative, fine. The mistake you made, it's not all, in my opinion, it's not even all the little points. The little points are nothing. It's bad enough by itself, but It's the big thing that I noticed when I watched season 1, which really made me think that that was why the whole thing was going to fail, is you didn't make it possible for any other nation to defend themselves against the Fire Nation. In the show, Fire Nation incinerates people. You actually see them do it on screen, which throws out the whole concept of it being a kids show. That's strike one. You just made it so that we're, okay, in case anybody's wondering, we're going to try to take a concept that was made for kids that had a whole idea of basing it on a general audience so that everybody could get something out of this, and we're throwing that out because the first thing you're going to see is a bunch of Fire Nation soldiers quite literally burning people to death and enjoying it. And not to make it even worse, when the Fire Nation decides to attack the Air Nation and we decided to film it, the Air Nation does not do anything to defend themselves in a way that would make any sense. All they do is block, which you can do for a little while, but unless you're planning on fucking using that airbending of yours to throw spears and shit into these Fire Nation guys, which is what you should have seen on screen, boulders, rocks, tornadoes, I don't know, anything that would have made sense, and just actually show them actually striking down some Fire Nation soldiers so they actually look like some Fire Nation soldiers bit the dust while they were busy overrunning the Air Nation soldiers, because it's the same thing when it gets to the end of the season when you get to the water benders. You don't see the water benders killing anybody. Oh, they block, fine, and you actually see some fall to their deaths and all the rest of it. But where do you see everybody's using, for some reason they insist on using water bending like the way it was in the show with just water. It's like you can freeze it, you can turn it into ice, you can turn it into ice and control that instead. You can use it, there's many different creative ways you can do it so that you can change the water so it can actually be a damaging and impending thing. But at the same time, since your main characters are children, while the Fire Nation is trying to kill them, because now you've made it clear that's what they're trying to do, the only thing the kids can do is defend themselves because they're kids, so they can't kill them. It's like the whole thing is completely unbalanced because you didn't make the rules clear when it came to who's going to kill who and why. Because you did that, it's no chance. The rest of it just doesn't matter. I mean, you can just throw out the entire show now because it's like, yeah, you know what, Azula's not going to be right because he couldn't figure out how to actually make it so that Azula, instead of having Azula use her Fire Nation, her fire bending, which is what she does through most of the show, by the way. Fire bending is the blue fire that she does. We didn't want to bother with that, so instead we'll just make it so she can constantly throw lightning all the time. It's like that's silly shit though when you actually just step back and realize that the problem with the show is simple. If the good guys are always going to, Fire Nation, Earth Nation, and Water Nation are always going to block, and the Fire Nation's always going to attack, your defenses don't mean shit if you're not willing to do the dirty work, if you're not willing to fight back. The whole reason why the animated show worked was because you didn't show the actual war. But you did show the repercussions of it, and people died left, right, and indifferent all around the world. Which means some Fire Nation, which means on both sides. Because the other thing is, just think of Gyatso by himself, the guy that was teaching Aang. When Aang first finds him when he goes to the Southern Air Temple, they show him pinned against the wall, like this. He's against the wall. He's like this, and he clearly, even his bone structure, his body language, he looks like he's exhausted. Like he's just sitting there just like, they finally got him. But there's like a goddamn armada of fucking Fire Nation dead bodies like leading up to him, which means he was pinned into a corner and fought and fought and fought and fought and fought and did the best he could, but they finally overran him. But that also means Gyatso killed many Fire Nation soldiers, which is something you also don't see in the actual show. That's why it sucks. The rest of it really doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't matter because if you lose that element in the beginning of it, the fact that you can't show anybody but the Fire Nation killing people, it's like this whole thing is completely out of balance. There's no way that anybody can even reasonably believe that 100 years have gone by and anybody's been able to stop these guys because you don't want to kill them. If you put a bunch of good bad guys, you put 50 evil guys in a box with 50 good guys, and we'll see what happens. Tell the 50 good guys they can't kill. The 50 evil guys will kill the 50 good guys and then kill each other. There'll either be two people, there'll either be one person left at the end or nobody at all. Meanwhile, if you actually tell the 50 good guys in there that they can kill the evil guys, they'll have it fight it out or whatever. The good guys will probably be be victorious in the end, even though they're losing on numbers. And then instead of killing each other, they'll try to find a way out of the fucking box. I mean, there's your problem. I'm not going to do it in this video. I'll do it in the next one I do, hopefully. But that's why Superman, everyone wants to get on Supergirl for being a shitty movie. It's like, look, I haven't seen it. I don't want to see it, to be honest, just because I really didn't like Superman. But the problem in both cases is less to do with James Gunn and the writing and all the rest of it. And a simple problem is the same thing when it comes to Avatar, which I'll explain later next time. But How do you write for Superman? If you're going to make an invincible character who's practically indestructible in every conceivable way, which is why there's a big flaw in his design, how do you write for him? How do you make the stakes high enough so that he's actually in trouble, vulnerable, dangerous? James Gunn decided to do it in the movie, and whoever did Supergirl, you had to give her a vulnerability. You have to come up with creative ways so she can be hurt, but that makes her less Supergirl and more just girl with cool powers, negating all the rest of the controversy back and forth and all the rest of it about what they say and what celebrities don't say and all the rest of it. It's just, how do you write for Superman? And the reason I mentioned Avatar is because in Korra, that's the problem with that. Every time she goes into the Avatar state in seasons 2, 3, and 4, nothing happens. She's not able to actually use it the way she should in order to actually turn things around, what the Avatar is supposed to do. Instead, she goes in the Avatar state and nothing happens. How do you write for Superman? It's very tough. So, yeah, that's basically it. I'll do one last reading here for the end of this just to tie everything up, and then we'll say goodbye. Every time you go, I die a little. Ugh. It's that Simpsons joke I was trying to do where Sideshow Bob, once he got a hold of Krusty's television show, he started singing, but I'm not Kelsey Grammer, and I don't know the words anyway, so there you go. So this one out, the Ten of Pentacles, for that wealth that I'm hoping I'm going to have now as a result of this reading, or maybe you can too. So it's wealth that we're coming into. We are coming into. The Two of Wands is do we stay or do we go, which is an interesting choice, but do you run with it or do you stay conservative? I have no idea which one, the way that one's going to go. The Hangman is pause. Pause to sit and realize, think about what we're doing and why. Judgment is rebirth. So since it hasn't already happened yet, I'm assuming it's the whole rebirthing thing. Skill is what's being appreciated. You notice all the readings, even though I've moved through several different decks, all the readings have pretty much mirrored each other. Knight of Pentacles for shift and materialism positive. Seven of Pentacles for the planting of a seed. And finally, the Five of Swords for the resolution of this crime that we felt, the thorn in the paw, for trying so hard for so long to get something done, only to see nothing come out of it. Finally, apparently, the storm may actually be over, and we're going to finally see some reward for all the things that we've been trying to do. I know I would certainly like that. This has been Life at the End of All Things. I am Alistair Beaumont, the Heretic Hermit. The address for my website is in the description, or will be in the description. Give it a shot and take a look. I know the prices are kind of high, but I can do this. I can tell you anything you want to know. The problem is, do you want to know it? And I guess most people don't right now, anyway. But if you're in a low spot and you can't find your way out and you want some hope, you want to feel better about things, you might want to give me a shot, because that's one thing I'm really, really good at, is making people feel better. Even if I can't promise you a perfect day or a perfect tomorrow, by the time you're done with the session or the email I send you or whatever, you should be able to feel better about whatever it is that's bringing you down. And isn't that everything? Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. And I want to do the be seeing you thing, but I don't want to keep copying the prisoner. I do feel like the prisoner, so I'm just going to do it anyway. But I'm not trying to copy the prisoner. I was just inspired by it. And I don't know how the heck I do it. That's why I always try to do it up here. I'm be seeing you. His thing was be seeing you because it was back here. I always try to do it up here because it's the third eye, right? So it's the third eye is probably doing all this work. Be seeing you. And then it gets creepy because I'm literally saying, hey, I will be seeing you, which is fun. That's why I thought it worked. See? So I'm right. I should burn like that because it will be fun. So I'll be seeing you. Thanks for watching.